Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? It seems so dark, doesn't it? I feel like it's almost like bedtime, but it's really only 5:30, so winter is upon us very soon, isn't it? I'm not really ready for it. I'm still into this not so cold yet season, so maybe we'll have a light winter, but maybe snow for Christmas, maybe? So we'll see, I guess. But I thank you all so much for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. I know everyone is really busy. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Emily Martinez. I'm Stark Developmental Disabilities Board Service and Support Administration and Investigative Services Director. And Lisa Paramore is here. She's in the back taping the PowerPoint presentation. And we'll have a couple stories at the end that she's going to tape as well. We're very thankful that so many of you keep coming out for our Family Information Series. We started this a little while ago when we've had several sessions, and we are trying to hear what you say you want to learn and know more about, want educated about, and make sure that we are having Family Information Series topics and presentations on those so that you have the opportunity to come and learn what you need to learn and network with other parents and family members and individuals. So we really appreciate having that opportunity. If you didn't have the chance to sign in, if you could just sign in before you leave. There are a couple of handouts over there. One of them is an interview guide that a lot of our families and parents use to help interview a provider. It is put out by the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities, and a lot of people really like it. It's got really good questions to ask a potential provider that may be serving a family member. There is also a little half sheet of paper, a little survey. We are talking about having a program for parent mentors. We've heard from lots of parents that it would be helpful, in addition to having staff and administrators at the county board to assist, as well as our providers in the community, to have some parents that have gone through things like transition or having a child with Down syndrome or having a child with autism that could be a mentor. So if that is something you're interested in, please fill that out and go ahead and give it back to either Lisa or I before you leave. It's something that we've heard from a lot of parents, and we're very interested in looking into that and seeing if that is something that we could do here at Stark Duty. Finally, there's also a one-page sheet on how to complete a provider compliance review, how you look that up online. And later on in the presentation, Edward Lewis, who is in the back here, one of our SSA supervisors, is going to talk with you about how you look up a provider compliance review and how that can help you choose a provider. So tonight's presentation is really about free choice of provider, how you pick a provider, different things that you can do, and different ways that you all as parents, family members, friends, neighbors, guardians can feel empowered to be a part of the free choice of provider process. Okay? In the state of Ohio, anyone that has a waiver, which is a Medicaid funding source, has free choice of provider. They can pick any provider that is able and willing to serve them. Okay? And that's really important to know, because just like with everything in our lives, we want to make sure that we're making good decisions for our loved ones, right? We want to feel empowered to know what's the process. How am I a part of this process? How do I help pick a provider? What do I do if I don't like my provider, right? And we hear from you all that you really want to know and understand that. So today we're going to talk about the free choice of provider process, what we can offer to help you, and what you as family members can do to be a part of that process. And in the end, we are going to introduce Miriam and Bobby, who are up here in the front, and their guardians, who graciously came today to share their story with you of how they picked their provider and the success that they have seen from that. So we're in for a real treat at the end of our performance, and I thank all of them for coming. They're up here in the front row. We thought it would be really nice for families and individuals to share a success story. You know, it is scary. We understand as families that people are scared and nervous about picking a provider. We want to be here for you and support you every step of the way. We also want to let you know we have lots of people that are going in the community and going through the free choice of provider process and having success. So I thought it would be a nice closing for them to share that success story with you. So we'll really be looking forward to that in the end here. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my presentation and just talk a little bit about free choice of provider. So free choice of provider is actually a rule. We're governed by Ohio Revised Code, and that means we have to follow that, and the state makes sure that we follow it. So one thing that you'll notice at your annual meetings, which I know there's lots of paperwork, lots going on, it's almost like buying a house, right, when you have your annual ISP meeting, right? And a big part of that is because we have requirements from the state, and one of those requirements is letting you know you have free choice of provider, okay? So we're required to notify you that annually when you enroll on a home and community-based services waiver. That's what HCBS stands for. And people can choose an agency, they can choose an independent, they can choose a combination. And so if you're really new to the provider search and you don't know, we have agencies where you might have, we have one here today, so you might have an agency where there's a lot of people working under some administrators, or you can have an independent provider, which is one person that gets certified and they're kind of like their own business, okay? So you can pick either one, or you can do a combination. You can choose from all qualified and willing providers statewide, okay? And sometimes we do have people that may have difficulty, often with transportation, that maybe have a hard time finding a provider in Stark. You can go to other counties and see as well, because if you're certified in one county, you know you're certified. You can choose different services from a different provider at any time. So if you've picked a provider and you have the best of intentions and then things don't work out, you have the freedom to choose another provider that's able and willing to serve your family member, okay? Just some more information about the free choice of provider rule. We do have some licensed settings where a home is actually licensed. We don't have too many left, but when you're living in a house that's licensed by the state, you actually pick that house and that provider. So I just thought that was something a little bit different to bring up. You have maintained free choice of provider for all of the waiver services and the right to move to another setting at any time. So what is the SSA role? The Service and Support Administrator, the Service Coordinator, Case Manager. I know we go by multiple different names, but we usually go by SSA. So the SSA will assist the person with the provider selection process if the person wants assistance. We do have some people that say, you know what, my neighbor uses Purple Shirt Agency and they really like them, that's who I want to go with. And I just want to go on my own and use them. We have lots of people that say that. We have some people that say, you know what, I want to do it all myself. I want you to give me a list of providers that can serve me, and I want to call, I want to tour, I want to do my own thing. That is certainly fine. We can assist you by showing you the departmental website that can help you see all the providers certified in Ohio. We can give you the department's guide to interviewing providers, which you have today. We can share objective information about providers, including provider compliance reviews, and we're going to talk about that more in depth in a little bit. We can tell you things like, what are the number of persons served by this agency, and other information offered by the provider to meet the specific needs of someone, okay? And that's a little bit different because in the past, many of you that have been in the system a long time remember the days when the SSA couldn't say anything. Do any of you remember those days? We could say nothing and just say, here's the list, good luck with it, right? And it was SSAs and families and even providers that went back to the state and said they should be able to share objective information about providers. We certainly can't say, you want this provider, right? Not this one, right? We can't do things like that. We can't sway you, we can't give you false information, we can't say, hey, you know, I meet with this provider and they're always late. We can't say things like that, but we can give objective, concrete information. Hey, this provider serves 500 people. Hey, this provider does a good job serving people with autism. Hey, this provider is in an area that is very close to your home, and I know that's important to you. Maybe you want to look at them first, okay? Utilizing the statewide uniform format, we can create a profile to identify service and support needs. So if you want us to create a profile for your family member, we can do that says, these are the things that my son or daughter or loved one needs, and then providers respond back and say, I'm willing, I'm able, and then people usually go from there. We can help you interview those providers if you so wish. Some families want to do that on their own. Some families want to have someone else assist them. Whatever you're comfortable with is really what we want you to be able to do. Again, we can give providers needed information to determine if they're able and willing to serve. Sometimes providers might come back and say, hey, I'm really interested. I might be able to serve, but I have a couple more questions. So we can come back to you and say, hey, mom or dad, they wanted to know these things before they can say yes, they would be able and willing to serve. We have to document everything that we've done. Of course, in SSA world, we have to document everything. We have to document that everyone was offered free choice of provider. And then we have to respond to any complaints within 30 days and notify our department if there's any complaints during the process. Are there any questions about that? Those are the main and typical roles that an SSA has the ability to assist you with. We've been really working with our SSAs because a lot of them have been here a long time, and it's really difficult to get out of that system where you've never been able to say anything. It kind of makes you nervous, right? It's like when you've always done something this way and then someone says, you can do it this way now. It takes you a little while, right? So we're constantly trying to have that conversation with SSAs and supervisors about, what information can you give? What unique ways can you help a parent? And we've had lots of success, especially lately. We've had some parents at the last information series stop me and say, hey, my SSA really helped me. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I'm worried about day programs and what happens when I'm not there. When I go and tour, they know I'm coming, they're ready, everything looks great, and it seems great. But what about when I'm not there? SSA made a great suggestion. Drop by. Don't tell them you're coming. Just drop by and say, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm just nervous. What happens when I'm not here? Can I come and look around, even though it's unscheduled? Okay? And she did that and had really great success. Had lots of providers say, oh, sure, absolutely. I'm glad you stopped by. Come on in. I'm busy, but let me grab someone else to help you. So that was good to be able to see that. And that's one unique way where we hear from you. This is what's really important to me. This is what I'm worried about. So we should be able to help you, and you should be able to tell us, I want to try this, or I want to try that. This is important to me, right? It's kind of thinking outside of that box, and we certainly want to help everyone to do that. In the free choice of provider rule, if the county board is a provider, so right now we are a day program provider, there has to be administrative separation between the staff delivering direct care service, and then we have to complete benchmarks that show we're recruiting new providers and also our process basically for privatization. So those are things within that free choice of provider rule that governs us that we have to do. Also in the free choice of provider rule is something really new that I think is really great that's never been there before, is that we now have to make sure that there is a commencement of services process, which means if your loved one starts a service, we have to go back and check and make sure, hey, how's that service going? Everything going okay? Are you happy with it? Do you feel comfortable? And I think that's a really good check and balance to have in play, because after you've started services a little while, checking back in, that helps us know, okay, we might be needing to look at another provider, or hey, things are going great, or maybe we need to put some additional supports in place. So new. This rule is fairly new. And so as with any new rule, it takes people time to get used to the new way. In the past, as we said, we couldn't share anything. And so now we're talking about what are the new ways we can share information with all of you. And we certainly are open to your suggestions. We want to work with you. If you have success stories or ideas, please share them with us. We are only as creative as we all are together, right? All staff are different, so some are very creative and others are more concrete about things, and that's just really a personality difference. All staff have been trained and know what they can share, and certainly we continue to train them on this because it is so new and it's so important, right? Being able to know that you have that ability to participate in picking that provider. Please feel empowered as a family member to say what you want and ask what you want. Don't ever feel like it's silly. Don't ever feel like it's a dumb question. Don't ever feel like it's not important to someone else. We want to hear from you. We want to know what's important to you. We want to know what you're worried about. Because if we know that, we can help you pick a provider based on that, and you're more apt to have success, right? And we want to be able to build those connections with you all. Just want to talk a couple minutes about staff roles. So we have Stacy Markham, who's here. Stacy. Stacy is one of our SSAs, and she completes the virtuous provider process. So she can help make that portal referral that we talked about with your profile for your family member. She can help interview, tour, facilitate the process. So please, as you go through the process, use what we have. Stacy does an excellent job. Do what makes you feel comfortable with, just know the resources that we have here in Stark County. Amanda Barkauer is also here. So Amanda is our Community Integration SSA, and over the past several months, many of you maybe have been hearing about lots of different kinds of waivers that we have, and when it comes to individual options waivers, we have started receiving what are called exit waivers, and they come directly from the state. They're funded by the state, and they are given to individuals living in an intermediate care facility, which is considered an institution, okay? Those intermediate care facilities are separate of the county board. They're not connected with the county board. They don't have an SSA, okay? And the state's goal is for people to live in the community, participate in their community, be fully integrated and included. So we have started receiving these exit waivers, and Amanda has been doing a fabulous job of working with individuals that have lived in an institution most of their life to figure out who they want to live with, where they're going to live. Stacy helps them pick a provider, go through a free choice of provider process, meet new people, get roommates, pick a day program, and leave an institution and come and live in the community and be successful. And so just kind of wanted to highlight that a little bit. And tonight we're going to hear Miriam and Bobby's story, and they actually came from an intermediate care facility and are now living successfully in the community. So I'm going to turn it over to Ed just for a minute to talk about provider compliance reviews, and he'll tell you a little bit about his position and what we're doing with that.
Thank you. I'm Ed Lewis. I am the supervisor for the SSA's provider compliance and support for student. Sorry. So anyways, this is a new function at the board. What I will be doing is leading a team that will be going out to the providers' locations and reviewing the services that they deliver, reviewing their company overall. Some of the things that we will review is not only service delivery, such as what is actually occurring between the provider and the individual that is there to receive services, but we'll also be reviewing the personnel, making sure all their personnel have had the proper background checks, drug screens, driving abstracts, so that they can transport people. We'll also be checking out CEOs, make sure that the CEO has kept up on all their qualifications that allows them per state rule to be a CEO of an agency. We'll be making sure that they have all their training, certifications, license, that they're on top of their medication delegation, all of those things. It's a comprehensive review. It's not just service delivery. Something that makes me extremely popular here at the board is we also review the ISP and the SSAs that write those ISPs. So even if your SSA, for some reason, were to have a slight oversight, my team would catch that and make the SSA aware. They would have to also make a correction. So it is all encompassing, and we are here to try to support the provider, support the families, and support the board so that we can have a better delivery of service in our community. Additionally, any provider that is new to our county, or new to the state in providing services, I should say, within their first year of service delivery, they will have to go undergo this compliance review. And then every 3 years after that, every provider has to be reviewed and get through that process in order to retain the certification. What this means to you as family members is that we are watching, we are constantly in contact with the providers, making sure that they are doing exactly what they are supposed to do. Outside of regular reviews, we can also do what is known as a special review. So if SSAs are out there, or families are out there, and they start to notice some inconsistencies or starting to have some difficulties with the provider that they feel makes this provider unable to meet the law or rules that are put forth by the state, then I can send my team out at any time, and we can do it on the spot, unannounced review of the services that are being delivered. And we can also, from there, take any appropriate action that needs to be done and corrected. As family members and SSAs, keep in contact with your SSA. When they come out and talk to you, if you have a problem, let them know. When the SSA is out at the provider's location, if they see things, they will complete a monitoring form, and they will let my team know. And when we start to get this feedback, that's how we're able to launch special reviews and kind of keep on top of things. However, if no one is talking, if no one is communicating back, then we can't do that. So it's important to be empowered, as Emily has said, and speak your mind and let it be known so that we can go ahead and help you get the best service that your family and loved ones deserve. You guys have a handout that we gave. This is important that we want to point out to you guys today because it's a quick overview of how you can look at compliance reviews that have been completed, whether they've been completed by my team or they've been completed by a team from the state of Columbus. You can look at either a provider that you're currently using, or if you're undergoing the free choice of provider process and you're choosing a new provider and you want to see how their compliance reviews have done or fared in the past, you can look them up before you make a decision. And as you see here, you just go to the DODD website, follow these steps, and it will take you right to where you can find those reviews and you can read them. Now, I will just give you this little warning. If you open up a review and you see 22 citations, that's going to sound like a mind-boggling number to you. The review is 64 pages long with about 7 or 8 questions per page. So when you do the math, there's going to be a lot of places for a provider to get hit on. Also, no provider, or I shouldn't say no provider, very few providers can go through an entire review without 1 or 2 citations. I mean, I'm looking at documentation. If somebody does an initial 1 line, I'm docking them for a citation that they have to correct. So make sure you read what the citation is. Call me, call my team, and ask questions of what is the seriousness of these particular citations, or what concerns should we have when looking at this review. I'll be happy to speak with you, go through the whole process with you, and answer any questions you may have about that provider. Outside of that, that's my quick overview. If anybody else is really interested, we can do lunch. We can talk about it for hours, but I don't want to bore you tonight, so I just gave you a brief overview. That's all I have.
Thank you. So, and as Ed said, this is something new that we're doing right now. The state does part of our provider compliance reviews, and then the other part we use an agency called Northeastern Ohio Network to do those. And now with Ed and his staff starting in 2017, we're going to do those in-house. And I think that will really, really help us because we'll be able to know, who's having issues, who's not, how can we provide additional support to providers to make sure that we're getting the best, most quality services within our community. So I think it's a really great step for us, and it's an additional layer of monitoring that we are able to go out and continuously monitor providers. And we're very fortunate in our county that we have lots of excellent providers that work really, really well with us. And as Ed said, they're excited about us doing provider compliance reviews because they know that that's just going to help our relationship, help them improve, help us improve. So I think it's really great that we'll be able to do that in-house. Does anybody have any questions about that? Yes.
When companies receive or agencies receive a citation, is there a timeline in which they have to complete?
Yes, everything has a timeline. They have to come into compliance with any citations. They do have the opportunity to appeal, and then they have to come into compliance with fixing that citation with whatever the issue was. And then there's also a process in place that if they don't fix it, that then there's an additional timeline. And if they don't fix it again, there's additional time, and that could actually end up suspending a provider. And if a provider is suspended, they can't take any new admissions. It basically stops their business. You can keep serving the people you have, but you can't take any new people, which obviously is a huge issue for a provider. And then typically those citations and those issues get fixed. And then there's also through the state legal department a revocation process, where if the citations are really major and there's lots going on and we've gone out and we're not getting where we need to get, that provider can be revoked, so they're no longer certified to provide services. And we're fortunate in Stark that we have a really good team and that we have a great relationship with our state department, and we've had lots of success. Whenever we have an issue, we've had times where we've called them and within the same day they're out to that provider agency to check on things. So that's been really helpful to us as well. So just that added layer of monitoring that we're going to keep checking in on things. Any other questions? Yes.
Is there a guideline of services that you're supposed to be providing?
The services that they should be providing.
Can you
will be
repeat the
in-
question?
Yes, she asked if there's a guideline for the services that they should be providing. So there's kind of two guidelines. The first guideline would be the individual service plan. So all the services that are in the plan are what that provider should be delivering. And then there's also the provider compliance tool, which, as Ed said, is a 64-page, really huge document that goes through different sections, and that is used as a checklist so that we can make sure, as he said, does everybody have their background checks? Does everyone have their driver's abstract? Does everyone have their drug tests? Is the CEO meeting all the current qualifications? Is the ISP being followed? Is there an assessment? There's multiple pages of things that they go through to make sure that that provider agency has that we use as a checklist. And then additionally, that ISP comes into play because we make sure that the provider is delivering the services in that plan.
I was thinking more of the family, like when the family walks in, they know what to expect, in case, something takes place.
And I would say for that, I would use the ISP. If you know what that provider is supposed to be delivering and what they've discussed with you, and you go out to the house and that's not happening, I would call your SSA right away and let them know so we can follow up on that. And then just, as a parent, I know if I go into someone's house that's caring for my son and I see something right, I'm gonna know as a mom right away. Something is off, I didn't like that I saw this or that. Do not ever feel bad or like it's not your place. If you don't like something, speak up, because that provider, either billing for services, they're delivering that service to your family member, you want to make sure that what you feel comfortable with is what they're doing. And that I want to be a big focus of tonight. Feel empowered, speak up. We want you to do that. And certainly our providers do too. They want to hear from you, they want to improve, they want to do the best that they can. And they want to make sure that they, keep your loved one in their home or keep serving them in your home. So, any other questions? Okay, so I am going to go ahead and introduce Miriam and Bobby. Do you want to stand up? She's giving me an evil look. Oh, come stand up over here. Come here. Come on. You look so nice, all dressed up. You can come up here too. So this is Miriam and Bobby. And as I said at the end of our presentation, we really wanted to just end on a positive note, right? We talked a lot about feeling empowered and picking a provider and participating. And Miriam and Bobby have such an amazing story. Their guardians are here with them today to tell you that story. They lived in an intermediate care facility and were separated for a very long time, right? And weren't involved with the county board, didn't maybe really know that the county board existed or what was available to them. And I know for a very long time they wished that they lived together like they did growing up, right? And so unfortunately they heard about exit waivers and the rest is history, right? So I'm gonna let their guardians come up and introduce themselves and tell you their story. And I know it will just warm your hearts. And I hope also make you feel more comfortable that the free choice of provider process does work. We do have really great providers in our community, and we have lots of success stories where people are living happy, healthy, and getting what they need in our community right here in Stark County. So I'm going to turn it over to your guardians. I'll let you ladies introduce yourselves.
My name's Jennifer Mattern. I became Mary's guardian 3 years ago. She was living in an ICF facility, and then
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm Bobby's guardian. Oh, okay. I had to write mine down just a minute. I've known Mary and Bobby for years. They lived across the street from me and my family. Mary and Bobby have been together since Bobby was an infant. When their foster mother passed away, their foster mom's sister placed them in a facility. After a few years, Mary moved to another facility and was told that Bobby could move in soon. Then there was not an opening. For a little over a year, they had seen little of each other. In March, I became Bobby's guardian. They had both received waivers that would help them purchase furnishings for what they needed to set up a home. We started interviewing providers and touring homes. Jennifer and I picked a home and a provider and took them back to the home to let them check the house out to see if they felt that it was a good home for both of them. They both fell in love with it. They went shopping. They both got new bedroom furniture, a table for the kitchen, and all the other necessities. On September the 24th, they moved into their new home. This is such an rewarding, I'm sorry. This is such an rewarding experience for me. I want to thank Stacy, Amanda, Sandy, and Satar for making this possible for me.
me too. Basically, we applied for the exit waiver, and then we started working with Amanda and Stacy, and they were put on the portal, so we kind of told them what we were looking for as far as it had to be able to take both a male and female, needed it to be a ranch-style home, Canton area, and then Stacy would get back to us with addresses. I would drive by, Lisa would drive by, and then we'd kind of get together and decide, okay, that location looks really good. And that's when we set up an interview. And we'd meet the provider. We took Miriam and Bobby, and they had their own questions. And it was basically, was it everything that them guys needed and wanted? I think that's all.
Thank you guys so much for sharing your story.
I just thought that was a nice way to end tonight because, everyone going through the process, receiving an exit waiver, getting some additional funding to help them when they're moving out of their home. It is really nice to hear success and that our processes are working. Not everything is always perfect, but this is what we're here for. We're here to help you. We're here to support you and help you find what you need in the community. And we're so thankful that you guys did and that we're able to be a part of that process. So I thank you all so much for coming tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening. We have one question.
If someone missed the meeting and they want to see the video, how can they get it?
Yes, if someone missed the meeting, you can go onto our website and onto our YouTube. All of the Family Information Series videos are on there, so they can always go and watch the video. And that's a nice thing we have. So anytime if you've ever missed a Family Information Series, they're on there. Sure. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much. Safe travels home, everyone. Good night.